Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When the Ukrainians showed up with those maritime or naval drones, I was surprised that that was reported as a novelty or something, like something that nobody thought about, even though I know it was presented in some military exhibitions or whatever you call those. And now the Russians show up with their naval drone. Now, after almost 2 years, so you needed the Ukrainians to show up with whatever the Brits made for them, or some people say, some sources say, unnamed sources. Now we have the Russians presenting their naval drones, and I'm going to show it to you, and they're going to use them on the Ukraine's coast to do what exactly? I don't know. It's kind of big. It's a Russian made. What do you expect? Here it is. Sputnik. Here it is. New Russian naval drones could become bane of Ukraine's coasts. And here is the drone. It is like a speedboat. It's kind of tall. I'm guessing this is how much it's submerged. And it has this, well, good enough, I guess. What do you think? That's all they show us here, and they have that thing over there. Oh, this is to communicate with the satellite. Jesus Christ. If that's on top of it, the Ukrainians were better, but I don't know what technical data has over there. Russia's armed forces in the Black Sea may soon get their hands on a new weapon that can be used against both naval and coastal targets. New unmanned boat drones are expected to be delivered to the Russian military by the end of the year to be tested in the Ukrainian conflict zone. Managing director of Kingisepp Machine Building Plant KMZ, Mikhail Danilenko, told Sputnik. The first batch of these drones is going to consist of 10 units, each capable of reaching a speed of up to 80 kilometers per hour. That's much faster than the Ukrainian ones. Per hour, and carrying up to 600 kilograms, bigger than the other guys, worth of payload, explosive or otherwise. Oh my, 600 kilograms, that's a lot. While such drones can pose a considerable threat to ships, they can also be used against coastal targets, Russian military historian Yuri Knutov said. Now, I have an observation. You see this on the top here? They're shiny. That can be a military drone, or just the bottom is shiny. You don't want it shiny, let's put it this way, because shiny, immediately you see it in the light, reflects it. You can't have it. So here, if you see the top, it's not really shiny right there, if that's what shows up. But here, this is shiny. It needs to be shiny, but not like that. I mean, for a better, how do you call it? I don't want to say hydrodynamic function. But let me see. I have, again, here, you see it? It's shiny right here. And you see how it goes here? So I'm not certain how much this gets submerged. I'm guessing up to here. And it's not shiny on top. Well, we'll find out. And I'm quoting, "Seeing how Ukraine currently has no navy, these drones are going to be used against coastal targets." He speculated, noting, however, that any warship Ukraine tries to use under its flag will likely become a target for them. But that little thing on top here is very concerning, because you can see it from miles away, and it's already dent here. You see it's dented over there? Can't make shit up. Is the same one? They have only one? No, this doesn't have a dent. So they have two at least. All right, let's see what else. According to Knutsov, a lone naval drone does not pose a threat. They didn't say it's drive autonomy. They said 600 kilograms, 80 kilometers per hour, but they didn't say how long. 3 minutes. I'm going to tell you a joke about that. When we were in the communist times, there were a competition of watches, and there was the Americans, it was the Germans or the Japanese, I can't remember, it doesn't really matter, and it was the Americans and the Soviets, and some in between. So anyway, the Americans come with a watch like this and can do this, can do that, can do this, can do that. Oh my God, that's it, that's, you got it, that's. And then the Russians come with a watch like this and start showing you, it can do this, can do everything what the American watch can do, and 10 times more. Like, oh my God, everybody's, wow, it's a big invention, wow. But how big are the batteries for this watch of yours? And the Soviets showed two big, I don't know how you call them, big, I don't know. Anyway, like, how do you call it in English? Caskets, I guess, big ones to say, those are the batteries for a watch. So the same here, yeah, you have 600 kilograms, oh my God, 80 kilometers per hour, oh my, and it runs what, 3 minutes? That's the same. Oh, it's great, but where are the batteries? Over there. So you can't use the watch because you have the battery. How are you going to have the batteries with you all the time? All right, so let's go back to this one. And I'm quoting, here it is, talking about the wolf. And I'm quoting, our unmanned boats have small above water decks, and they can carry up to 600 kilograms of payload, including explosives. Their range is about 200 kilometers, way smaller than the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians had, I think, if I remember, 400 kilometers. But not that you need more than 200 in the Black Sea. I mean, if you look at the Black Sea from the coast, from the Russian coast, you can go on the Romanian coast 200 miles, 20 kilometers, I'm guessing, something like that. Not even. And their top speed is 80 kilometers per hour. These characteristics are decent enough for the drones to be used against large enemy ships, that's true. 600 kilograms of explosives would be enough to sink a corvette or in some cases even a frigate. He pointed out that the drone's payload may not necessarily be an explosive one, so instead of being used only as guided torpedoes, these unmanned boats can potentially be employed to move cargo or for intelligence gathering. Alright, he also recalled that Russian unmanned boats were displayed during a naval parade this summer, in St. Petersburg, and described the development announced by KMZ as a new stage of development of such hardware. This hardware needs to be tested in battlefield conditions, and if it meets expectations, it will be developed by the military, he added. Fantastic, very good. Go for it, we'll see. But the mother of inventions is necessity. So you need to win the war, so you don't get killed. Invent stuff to achieve the goals in a war. So here it is. The Russians come with their drones, with the naval drones. We'll see how efficient they are. But 200 kilometers is good enough. I mean, let me show you the Black Sea a little bit. All right, here is the Black Sea. So this is the Crimean Peninsula. So if they operate out of the Crimean Peninsula, they can reach wherever on this coast from, let's say, Varna in Bulgaria, this coast. So they don't need more than that. They can block the whole thing here, the whole transport, everything that goes to Ukraine right here by the Romanian coast, because that's the transport goes from Odessa and from Izmail, from Reni. If they come down the Danube River, they go into the Black Sea and they go by the coast, here, and then they go here and then go to the Bosphorus Strait, Dardanelles, Sea of Marmara, and so on. So that's why they're here, though 200 kilometers, definitely gonna operate easily in all this area with no problems. So we'll find out how efficient they would be. Obviously the Ukrainians will adjust, and I'm assuming they will use, you know what they will use? They will use drones. You identify the target, if you identify it, and then you use the drone, and you come with the drone and hit it and bye-bye. That's it, one-on-one. The Russians did not do that. The Russians just pop from the vessel. That means only then they identify the target. That's kind of lame. I don't know how that was possible, but if it comes very low, as the Ukrainian the Ukrainian drones are very low, you go with the radars, with the radar doesn't catch the waves, I'm guessing. I don't know, it should be something else. It can't just be something like that. But probably they will have success on small vessels or landing ships, or something that is how do you call that, intelligence gathering, not a cruiser or whatever, a destroyer or something that really has big potential of finding approaching targets or subjects. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.